Heads up, audio listeners, you're about to hear a videotaped conversation. For the full experience, you'll find the video version of this episode on Spotify or YouTube. You've also said that movies were a way that helped you kind of learn to be the woman that you wanted to be, that you found role models in films. And I'm curious, is there one movie that stands out or one character that stands out that really made you go, that's who I want to be?
Okay, first of all, I would say that it's more unlearning than learning. I think that it's like it takes more time to unlearn the things.
That is filmmaker Elene Naveriani, originally from the country of Georgia. And yeah, their new movie is all about a woman unlearning the ways she's always been told she should behave. It's the story of Etero, who runs a small-town grocery store. She's an unmarried, middle-aged virgin, which already makes her the subject of local gossip. And when she suddenly launches an affair with a married guy named Merman, she's really got to figure out what she wants. Gossips and society be damned. I'm Rico Gagliano. This is the MUBI podcast. Welcome back to our special season of conversations from the 2023 Cannes Film Festival. This is episode 5. Elene Naveriani talking about her film Blackbird, Blackbird, Blackberry, and about the film that inspired her to make movies in the first place.
It's a film of, it's a Miracle in Milan. It's Vittorio De Sica. It's like Italian neorealistic film. And I think that when I watched it, I was 10 years old. And I remember like how I felt that it was something very, very, I felt that cinema was made like also for me. And it was also made for everybody. And that's what I felt that I could do this, afterwards.
What about it struck you that way?
It's a story of like you have like very tiny village and you have extremely diverse people living there, and it's a poor village, and you have really like the physical differences, you have like identity differences, and like how they kind of live together, and how they kind of try to live together and also learn the things.
You're almost describing your films. I mean, like these are literally some of the things that are in your films. They're set in small villages.
I think I'm trying.
That was the blueprint for you.
Yeah, it was.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so then a few years ago, you read this book, Blackbird, Blackbird, Blackberry. Take me back to the moment that you read the novel and like where you were, what was happening in your life, and like the moment where you kind of go, this is my next film.
So I was in a plane. So I was just like, I recorded ADR for the last film before that one, Wet Sand. And I just bought a book. I knew that I had a long flight to get back to Geneva, and I read the book.
I know how it goes. And
really, like I finished it in 4 hours, and I already had the first page that I read, I knew that. I mean, who I wanted to work with as an actress, I knew that I could make something out of it. Right away, when I landed, I wrote to the author. I said, like, I have an idea. What do you think about it? And she's like, why not? Just do it. And really, like, super quickly, kind of everybody really got on the board, and we really, very fast kind of pace, we just managed to do it.
How fast from the moment you touched down to when you started rolling camera?
Year and a half.
Okay, so not right away. I want you to tell me like a month.
No, really. I mean, come on, it still takes time, right? I mean...
But the inspiration was like instantaneous, like you landed and you were into it.
Absolutely.
What happens on that first page that makes you go, this is it?
Basically, like what is interesting, that novel is written in the first person. You have a monologue of the character. So it's like she talks to herself all the time. So what I felt and what was really inspiring, it's... I don't know, it's this way and like how she thinks and what she says to herself. It was very familiar to me. Also like the struggle with yourself that you know what you want to do, but there is this like a back voice that tells you that maybe you shouldn't, because there is, I don't know, you have a neighbor, you have a mom, you have this, it's like a lot of things that it's kind of even kind of censoring your own self. And I was like, this is amazing, because we all go through, like, it doesn't matter like what gender you have, well, whatever you like, it's something that we learn to be like that. We kind of also like not letting ourselves to be who we want to be because of this kind of oppressed or kind of repressed like society, let's say it. So there was like what inspired me.
Let's talk about this character. You've called her an instinctive feminist.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean, it's something that there is a moment in your life that you learned about things. I mean, and you naming it, right? I don't know. It's like, you know that, okay, being a feminist, it means this and this and this and this. And I think that for me, it's this, that hetero, what she has, she doesn't really, how can I say, intellectually kind of naming herself, or she doesn't really do something because it's a feminism, or it's something that she's defending the minorities or something. She's not really like a consciously, I would say, like a she's not identifying herself with any kind of concept, but there is something that she has it, and instinctively she goes against of this flow. She never learned this, but she has it. She has it, and it's kind of, throughout the process, it's like you feel that it's just kind of awakening.
Yeah, there are moments where it almost seems to burst out of her.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene that really got me early on in the film where she goes to a cafe and she's eating alone, and she orders like a pastry or something like that. And a man like remarks that she looks like she's single or something, and she says, "Do you remember it's something like?"
Ისიც გადაეცი გათხოვებას და ყლეს რომ ბედნიერება მოქონდეს, ბევრი ქალიეული და ბედნიერი. შემომხედოს ერთი ვინ არის ბედნიერი.
If dicks and marriages
made
happiness. Women happy, then there'd be a lot more happy women.
Exactly, yeah.
And it comes like, you don't expect it at all to come out of her, and yet it does. Yeah. This is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, I think that this instinctiveness comes from the understanding your context or place where you live. And she sees her neighbors, she sees like people around her, all the women, and she feels and she knows that they are not happy. And it's really something that they told her that, okay, you need to get married, you have to do this. And it's, I don't know, it's like, this will make you happy. It's obviously, it's not.
She's a punk, basically.
She's a punk. I mean, I'm happy that you're saying that, because for me, she's extremely punk. Because when I was writing the story, I was really, I mean, that's something that I'm working, that when I write, I always have the soundtrack. Yeah. And it's extremely, and we have also in the film the Georgian punk musician. Oh, yeah. Like there are like few soundtracks that it's written by him, and it's really like what I wanted to feel and how she feels inside. It's extremely punk. I mean, really like this noise that she carries. It's punkish.
Yeah, she's very punkish, yeah. Which is also, I mean, for people who haven't seen the movie, she doesn't look it, like she doesn't look the part, which is almost the point, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also appearance, right? I mean, you don't need to appear like just be the way, I mean, how you look at, I mean, the physicality doesn't say much. It's everything. True. It's kind of what is inside.
But speaking of physicality, so she has the sexual relationship, the sexual awakening. I know that you've said that kind of the sensuality, her sensuality as an older woman, as like a larger woman, is important to you. But you've also decided to shoot it in this way that's a little step back from it. It's not like, I wouldn't call this a sultry movie. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit distanced from it. Why did you choose to do it that way? If kind of part of the point is that she's like a sensual person.
I think it's a way how I see I don't like to be too close to things. I also feel that I'm standing behind the camera. I also take a distance. I'm not, of course, I mean, there is a character, there is a film, and I'm telling this story, but I'm still someone who is kind of, we have still kind of distance between each other. And I prefer to give more context and to put this in a context, and not to just really get too close to the, I don't know, some kind of spectacularity, I would say. I prefer that it's, I don't know, you can also feel what you want to watch, what you want to, which part of the image you kind of choose to look at. And it's not directing that, okay, this is what I want to show you.
I will say it is a movie of details. It's
absolutely, yeah.
And in movies like this, I always love to have a director tell me what is it. I like sending the audience into the movie with the director telling them, here's a detail that I really love that you might miss. So do you have one in mind, like something you're particularly proud of, a little thing that's in there?
I'm proud of a lot of things in the little details, I would say. But there is one that it's when they have a first meeting in a shop, And Murmani, the guy, comes back.
Her lover to be. They're not
exactly,
lovers yet.
And he invites her on a date, and they have the hands. Kind of, you have and how he's really trying to touch her hand. It's extremely almost you don't see it because it's a huge. It's a wide shot, but it's something that really says a lot. And I think in a film there are really these really tiny details and the gestures that I also enjoy too when I'm directing. And it was also fascinating with all of them actually, that it was not about, okay, let's make a scene. It was about really millimeters of, okay, let's try, this tiny gestures that it's maybe unnoticeable, but it says a lot about everything.
I will confess, I know little about Georgia. Is there something about this movie that you would say is essentially Georgian? You no longer live there, I'm aware, but you've made many of your movies about Georgia. And is there something like an attitude or, even if there's, I kept thinking, I wonder if the products in Etero's shop were chosen for specific reasons because you remember them from Georgia or things like that.
Yeah, they were chosen for specific reasons because also in the regions, in the villages, you have very different products. Oh. So they are also a very weird products that you never know why people are using this, somehow it looks toxic. I don't know, soap that is colored that it's you're never gonna wash yourself with this, that's also, I would say that this toxic kind of the products, it's also what is very part of Georgian identity. It's toxic relationships. Something that what she has also with the neighbors. That's something that you are a friend, but you don't really understand why you're a friend. You don't really know why you go back to this place. You don't know why you celebrate together the birthday of the guy that he's not even showing up on a birthday. It was interesting also that people that are not from this culture, very often, when we had the feedbacks during the editing, we're like, why is she's friend with these people, They're super nasty. They're really assholes. I'm sorry for my language, but it's
okay.
But in the end, it's that's how it works, because you are kind of trying to integrate in a place that you have around. So you don't have also, okay, why I don't want to be there? Because if I'm not going to see them, it's somehow I feel lonely. But I like to be alone, but I also want to be kind of, part of this group. And I think this toxicity and that's kind of bit talking back to each other or kind of something bad about each other. It's something very kind of characteristic to Georgia. Maybe it wasn't going to be taken in a nice way, but well, that's it.
This may be the way I related to, because what you've just described is very similar to Los Angeles, California.
Well, maybe it's everywhere like that. Maybe this is also general kind of order that what we live in.
Yes, it's a very universal theme, I feel like. You no longer live in Georgia, you live in Switzerland. Why Switzerland?
Oh God, this is a very long story, but I would say short.
How much time do we have? This will be our last. This will be our last answer.
No, I say when I was a painter before. I wanted to be a painter. So when I finished my art school, I really wanted to leave. It was a war with Russia, so it was something that was really a huge the political kind of chaos, as it is always, and it is now again. I just didn't want to stay there, so I just sent out my applications to a lot of countries. I was refused everywhere, and only Switzerland who said just come and you can pass your interview in art school. So I got accepted. So I arrived to Switzerland, and voila.
Well, let me ask you as a final question: do you imagine ever going back to Georgia? Because there's still a tenderness in your movies towards this country, as much as you've just said some fairly negative things.
I still feel I go very often there, and I think it's something that it gives me a lot of love and a lot of also passion and a lot of pain as well. And I think it's something that it's still very important for me. And I think it's going to be important because I feel that I'm extremely rooted in there and something that I carry and I want to tell, or I feel it's, I'm Georgian. And it's where I live now. I feel really embraced in Switzerland. It's really way how I feel there and what I do there. I'm very grateful, and I see this kind of a privilege that I have. But I don't know. I was thinking like, will I be able to make a film somewhere else, which I would love to try, but I don't know, because it's something that if I don't feel it really here, I cannot really, take it out and just to tell others.
Elene Naveriani, Blackbird, Blackbird, Blackberry is their new film. While you wait for it, do check out their debut feature, Wet Sand, another lovely film about the bright and dark sides of small-town life. It's streaming on MUBI in the US and elsewhere. Check the show notes of this episode for details. Meanwhile, this episode of the MUBI podcast was written and hosted by me, Rico Gagliano. Kira McKenniff produced along with Elodie Fagan and Josefina Perez Portillo. Mustafa Koka edited the show, and Michelle Cho is our supervising editor. Yuri Suzuki composed our theme music. Our camera crew in Cannes included Cedric Azar, Alice Deplat, Rob Godfrey, Solal Coulon, and Matis Toti. Special thanks to MUBI's additional team in Cannes, Eric Eisenberg, Sam Letter, and Ilias Malki. This series is executive produced by me, along with John Baranachea, F.H. Egarel, Daniel Kasman, and Michael Taka. And of course, to stream the best in cinema, head over to MUBI.com to start watching. Next episode, Belgian rap star turned filmmaker Balogi on his debut feature, Omen. It won him the New Voice Prize at Cannes. Till then, go watch the movies.